All right, surfs up, y'all. We're back with the Mauisnake Show. It's been a while since we've done it, but I've been diving headfirst into Deadlock, and I have with me Zerggy, who decides to show his trackball above all else. And I think that it's honestly really interesting that you are playing right now competitively with this. And actually, let me preface who Zerggy is for people that aren't really sure. I found Zerggy because I was watching the Aurora Deadlock Masters, and then I just kind of started clicking through some of you guys who won that tournament. And that's the recent 10K that Jackie casted on his channel, which is Dead Airlock or Deadlock Air. Either way, I was just kind of sort of blown away by the fact that someone's playing a hero shooter with a trackball when I feel like you have to be flying around the map all the time and doing crazy stuff. But then I started watching your stream too, and I was like, okay, you're making this work, and it doesn't look like it's holding you back. So first off, welcome Zergy, and also why do you use a trackball?
Hi. There's not really that much of a backstory of my trackball. My parents, all my entire family, all uses trackballs. So for like the first 12 years when I was playing, I didn't realize this was not normal. Yeah, I
Right.
only realized it was normal when I played Overwatch, and people looked at my kill cams and my aim like, your sense is a little bit too high. Looks like you have looks like you have jitters or something.
That's yeah. So what was your background with Overwatch before?
I used to play competitively in Overwatch as well. I played Overwatch contenders back in I think 2018, so I do have a little bit of background in hero shooters.
Okay, cool. So is Contender, so I a lot of my fans are Counter-Strike fans, so they might not know what Contenders is. Would you mind explaining what the levels are and what that means?
Uh, are you familiar with like Overwatch League?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the level below Overwatch League.
Okay, okay. That would be kind of considered in, I guess, the Counter-Strike space if people are, it's like the ESL Challenger League. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's like tier two,
essentially, yes.
basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So the team you played with, it seemed like it was just kind of a random mix of people from different countries. Like you're British, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
UK.
yeah. So with your team, I feel like people were from all these different countries. How did you guys find each other?
On ladder, we played against each other a lot on ladder, and yeah, we had good games with each other against each other. So we realized that we were good players, and I got invited. Somebody else assembled the team. I didn't assemble anything. I just got invited into the team, but I assume that's how it formed.
Okay. And so what did they pick you for? Like what characters? I've seen you play a couple different ones on your stream.
I'm more of a carry player. I play Haze, Wraith, Paradox, Infernus, and Seven.
Okay, okay. So I guess before we dive too much into the specifics of Deadlock, I was curious because it seems like, well, you are dedicating your time towards this one. You're playing in tournaments. You've just played another one the other day, and what's drawing you to this game right now?
It's fun. I mean, I played Overwatch before, right? Overwatch, I'll be honest with you, it fell off. It's struggling right now. So I looked for something new in Deadlock. I got invited like 2 months ago. It really pulled me in with like the MOBA and hero shooter mechanics as well. It's really fun. There's a lot of mechanics. It's pretty deep with the mechanics. There's a lot you can do. It's similar in Dota in that way, but I don't play Dota. I
Right.
played League before this, but not Dota.
Yeah, I would have to agree that I think it's a lot just like it's like a combination of the hero shooter like say TF2 or Overwatch, and then you have the MOBA mechanics which are you should be laning for a while before you're not just going to jump into fight after fight after fight. You have to balance the macro decision making of what you should be doing. Should you be helping your team? Should you be trying to gank? Should you be just trying to like farm by yourself? Along with just having good mechanics too. So I feel like right now it's got a lot of appeal for a lot of different people who maybe were exposed to those elements. Like you said, you haven't played Dota, but maybe a little bit of League, but then you played a little bit of hero shooters, or a lot of it for you in this case. And
Yeah.
it's kind of just little bits and pieces are appealing to different people, and then it kind of opens up the other parts of the genre to new people that are because it's a pretty unique game overall.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's very unique.
Have you
It's pretty accessible.
have you tried Smite?
No, I've not
I
tried. I've not played
uh,
Smite. No, no.
Yeah, because I feel like that was the earliest comparison where people are like, oh, is this just Smite? But there's just way more depth to it. Like Smite just almost, it's technically a third person kind of hero shooter MOBA, but it doesn't have nearly as much expression in terms of all the things you can do in the game. You're not running up buildings, you're not flying across the map with good movement and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much skill expression in Deadlock, which is why I think a lot of people are interested in it as well. The movement, punching, parrying, aiming, farming, doing whatever abilities, hero shooter stuff. There's a lot of skill expression in this game. A lot.
A lot of good interactions between the abilities too. How you can combo them off of each other and everything like that. Like getting someone in like a Kelvin ultimate and then having like some other Viscous ultimate, and you're just like bouncing around like a
Yeah,
pinball
yeah,
in his
yeah.
ability. Yeah, all of those things seem to work out so well. And as opposed to just kind of like 5 people or 6 people casting spells that sort of don't interact. They were pretty thorough with making sure that everybody could kind of like find players that they would ally with well. Like Ivy obviously really like that plays into that in his kit, and then or her kit. I honestly don't know what gender Ivy
It's like
is.
gargoyle. I don't know
Is it
either.
gargoyle? Yeah, honestly.
I don't know.
Yeah, so okay, with getting into this space, I mean, you're assuming that it's going to be an esport. Like you think
Yeah.
what is your confidence level in that?
It's a Valve game. A lot of people are already interested in it already, and there already been like tournaments in this game, and there's a lot of interest as well. So I think there's about like a 95% chance this will be an esport.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think it's almost to me, I think it's 100% going to be one. It's
yeah,
just how high it's going to go. And I'm curious if it's going to actually reach that sort of tier 1 level, like the beginning of Overwatch League or what Counter-Strike, League, Dota are, if you want to consider Valorant, obviously. I feel like it definitely has the potential, but it could be held back by a little bit of sort of what made Overwatch League a little bit tougher to follow, just kind of like a lot's going on the screen at the same time. But it's basically trying to, I think with like Valorant's hard to watch for a lot of people, but if you play it, you can watch it. And I think that's kind of the hope right now for Deadlock, that people will know what's happening just because if they play it enough, they'll understand what's flying across the screen.
yeah, exactly. I mean, for it to be like popping off on the esports scene is all about marketing and stuff. Yeah, it's mostly marketing. The game is already solid by itself. So we'll see how Valve does on that. And they usually do very good with like Dota and CS. So
They've only
actually,
had one real miss, like Artifact, the card game.
yeah, that's the card game though.
Yeah,
So
they were a little late to the draw on that one. I think like Magic already had a foothold. Hearthstone was already doing pretty well, and then they just tried making a more complex one. And so overall, this game is pretty complex, but it doesn't feel like you're playing at the highest level. But I've noticed that people that aren't really even super familiar with this sort of genre are kind of picking it up and just kind of exploring all of the different options. But I kind of want to know from your perspective, since you're coming in here with like pretty quick high level experience, you knew how to play, you're already winning tournaments. What was the learning curve like for you? What are things that were kind of a foreign concept that you had to get used to?
or foreign concept. I would say denying souls from the enemy because that's not a mechanic in League. I think it's way more interesting in League that you can deny souls. It
So
adds a lot to laning.
yeah, what do you think about the laning phase in general? Do you think they did a good job with it?
Yeah, they did a very good job with it. It's a little bit messed up now because before in the tournament that I played, there's a thing called soaking.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the person in the duo lane goes towards the person on the solo lane, and they soak the wave, and then they go back to them. It's pretty weird. I think they're gonna patch that one out soon
Wait, what
because it's
is so you
soaking.
yeah, wait, so okay, so wait. What actually happens? You move over to the solo lane and you just get
Yeah, you
more
push your
experience?
duo lane wave. You push your duo lane wave. You get all of the souls from there, and then you go to the solo lane wave, and you soak there. You take a part of their exp and souls, and because in
Oh,
early game you share like a higher proportion of souls,
right.
then you get more money.
Oh, wow. Okay. So already okay, that's something that you're kind of like abusing, that or somebody's going to just get a higher level than everybody else because he's moving between two lanes. You're pushing one really fast, going to the second one, and then you're okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
All right. Um I guess I really do want to dive, like I'm really eager to dive into all the mechanics and everything like that you've figured out, especially at the high level. But I'm kind of still curious about like some of the stuff with it being an esport. Do you know people like, I assume you know, Mikaelis is like super well known already because he was the your team was named him, and I think that kind of drew people to that.
Yeah.
Even if other people did very well in the tournament, I feel like his name obviously jumped off the page just because it's like if you guys named yourself after him, people are going to assume there's a reason for that. Do you know if people like him, or I don't know what you can say about yourself, are already being reached out for contracts from orgs or anything?
For contracts, I've heard there's quite a few teams, yeah, but nothing too serious because this game's still very in the early stages. And
Okay.
because in the early stages, players might be better or be worse later on or something. So it's too early to say anything. But BetBoom has already made a team. If you're not familiar, I think that's like a
Yeah.
Apex team
They have a Counter
or
Strike team
CS
too.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they already made and I think contracted a team.
Okay.
And I think the Aurora Cup was hosted by
Well,
I think Aurora is
they're an org
org,
too.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so these, and I know Heroic has made an account trying to search for a team already. So there's definitely, yeah, I know there's some teams that are already looking, or some organizations that are already looking, but I guess not everything is completely set in stone yet. And so what about like the tournament scene right now? Like what the 10K, the Aurora 10K seem to be the biggest one. Are there other ones on the horizon that you've heard about?
There's the Aurora one, the one we just played in. I think wait, hang on, I don't know what that was called. I think it was Deadlock Core or something. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. There's
Mhm.
another one, Deadlock Showdown, I think, coming up soon. That's also a North American tournament. But apart from that, I haven't heard much. There's an independent one hosted by a content creator for 1,000,
Okay.
but haven't heard anything about that one either yet for a long time. So yeah, not much news.
When you guys are playing these ones, is there any sort of anti-cheat or anything, or are you just kind of hoping that everybody's legit?
I voted. I think there's VAC in this game. I mean, yeah, I think there's VAC in this game, but I've seen CS, so I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I can trust like that. We just trust each other not to be cheating. I don't. We played against these players and nada.
Right.
They're probably not cheating. I mean, if they are, then they got to step it up. But apart from that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, I feel like the only thing I've seen is like on the Deadlock Reddit, someone's just aim locking or something like that, and that would be
yeah,
super
I've seen it.
obvious if someone
Yeah,
was doing that in a high level game where you're just losing HP, 40-30% faster than you would be otherwise. So that would, and the guy's model was just looking at the ground, like they couldn't make an aimbot that didn't make the model look crazy too. So I feel like it would be pretty obvious. But okay, that's something that I think would probably be a concern later on, and perhaps if people are like trying to grind the ladder to get onto teams, maybe someone's subtle with it. But as of right now, it's
yeah,
not. I'm not someone that's like really always too worried about that, because I think at the high levels it usually figures itself out with like an anti-cheat system, or like VAC will hopefully improve. I think Valve have a vested interest to making a good anti-cheat. If someone's hitting like 100% of their bullets or headshots, then they should just ban that person. Like that's just not possible. So
yeah, for sure. Especially in a game like this.
yeah, right. Like there's so many things you have to track, and like your bullets also have spread. Okay, I do want to get into the mechanics because I feel like that. I mean, that's why I wanted to grab you. So you're playing carries right now. Let's just open up this with kind of roles in general, because Valve hasn't really explicitly labeled roles in the game. But I noticed when you guys were playing the Aurora tournament, it kind of felt like a blend of maybe you and Mikael would be both playing kind of DPS carry sort of characters. You would have a couple guys that are more on the utility side, and you got like what? So what do you think the spread is of a team in terms of like what a good composition is, or what even that comp
It's
is? Yeah.
it's I don't think there's any really well-defined roles. I think the two defined roles right now in this game are support and carry. Then the other four players are just flex, I
Okay.
think. Yeah. You base your composition around scaling and what you want to really do. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Okay.
But a
Okay.
good comp would have a mix of like tanky, one really hyper carry, and one support like Kelvin, Ivy, something like that, or Viscous. Yeah.
Okay. So you probably wouldn't want to have two Viscous and Kelvin characters, or like an Ivy and that, or could you? Like, is it still
You
very
could.
open? Yeah. Okay.
Viscous Kelvin is definitely doable. If you have like Viscous Kelvin, Ivy, and Dynamo, that's a real issue. You have like no damage really in that comp, no tanky. I mean, you do have a front line, but you're still very squishy. If the
Mm-hmm.
enemy team is like running like Abrams or Shiv, they will just run you down.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, okay, what do you think right now? The game's always being patched, so I'm not trying to I would say just don't feel like the patch is going to come out like what we're saying now, it still is relevant because it's kind of fun to see where the game's going to go. Like, are there any characters right now that you would just say this character is in the S tier every comp? You're either going to ban this hero or you're going to use him every time you can.
Shiv, Abrams, Kelvin, um, maybe Haze now. A lot of people didn't rate Haze before, but
Mm.
after I played her a lot, yeah, she's really good.
What
What else?
Well, why do you
Paradox, I
think?
guess.
Why do you think Hayes went from not rated to rated?
I mean, she was always good. People just didn't know how to like build her or play her. Somebody in the tournament went over to my stream and screenshotted the build I was using and then used it for that game. Yeah,
How do you know that? Did they tell you or like?
because I saw the clip, man. I saw the clip.
Okay, they were streaming too, and they went to your stream
Yes.
on their stream. Okay, that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Okay, well, what do you think then is what's the build? Do you need like more spirit damage or what? Like is
On Haze,
yeah.
I go like you don't need much damage on. You don't need damage. The ways Haze works is not your damage. It's not your weapon damage. It's your fixation stacks that are
Mm,
helping you do damage, which is why you build fire rates.
okay.
So once you get to a certain point of fire rates, you just start building tanky and like
Oh.
unstoppable for your ulti, and then you're just like an unkillable, 1v6 machine that just runs around and just kills everybody.
Okay, okay. So
People
yeah,
don't realize that.
yeah, no, I wouldn't have realized that either. Okay, no, I feel like finding out what all these like the high level builds are and optimizing it is something where like because I mean I'm like clicking the guides on the side. I'm looking at YouTube guides and stuff like that. I'm trying to theory craft it, but you guys are just constantly play testing it over and over and over again and finding out like what works, what doesn't work, and finding out these little niche strategies. And are there okay beyond that? So like Mikael plays a lot of Paradox. Have you've played him a bit too, for sure, right?
Yeah, I played against him a lot on ladder. Yeah,
So
sure.
what do you think? Because I looked at the track lock data and like noobs don't like lower level people don't get how to use him. What do you think makes Paradox a hero that at the high level can be really successful and effective?
Insane pick potential, really crazy pick potential. You've got like a 40-second cooldown on swap, I think.
Yeah.
So every 40 seconds you could be like threatening or getting a pick.
Uh huh.
And her kit is also really good as well. Like with the wall, the carbine, and the swap. And it doesn't really matter that much.
Right. The carbine can just get that pick, you slow them down, you can jump everybody else can jump on that person. You can just swap them back if you're the one that's closest to. Yeah, so many options for that. What let's see. Okay, so Kelvin just got hit with a nerf. Do you think that really matters or it's still just a busted
He's still
kit?
Esther. He's
Yeah.
still Esther. Very,
Okay.
very crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually better for some parts of the game.
Mm,
Do you know what Yamato ulti does? It makes it unstoppable.
right.
So you've been seeing people like jumping into Rejuve Pit of Unstoppable, right? Like with Yamato ulti, and they
Oh.
try to like steal it. So Kelvin Dome, you can't secure Rejuve with it anymore. So if you dome in the Rejuve pit
Yeah.
and Yamato's in there and has her ulti up, she can't punch it or secure it because you can't secure it in Kelvin Dome. So you wait for her ulti to run out in the Kelvin Dome and then you kill her. That was impossible before. You'd either
Okay.
have to dome her out or like yeah, just like risk it. But now
Hmm.
you can kind of counter Yamato ulti in pit with this Kelvin change.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know too. All right. Wow, wow, it actually again like I feel like if I was reading the patch notes it looks weaker in a lot of ways, but to actually have some reason that it's better too. That's pretty cool. How about like F tier heroes? Is there anybody that's just not being used at all?
Yeah. Every character is usable, but I think Geist is the weakest character right now. She's just far too slow for what she
Oh.
does.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's such a slow character. Everybody's like zooming around, killing everything, but Geist is just walking.
Right. Yeah, it feels like in the the kit is really strong. Like it's a lot of damage output, but just catch potential seems pretty low. So, and if with other people just like having so much stamina and just flying around and everything like that, yeah, hers is pretty far behind. How about McGinnis? I feel like McGinnis wasn't played at all in the Aurora stuff. I'm seeing McGinnis a little bit in the North American tournaments, but like not a lot, not always anyway.
She's like a niche character, but I honestly think she's not that bad.
Hmm.
But I don't, I'm not gonna try and pick her up. But I honestly think they can make her work. But nobody's figured out how to play her or the build yet.
Okay. What about Ivy? Wasn't also picked in the Aurora thing very much. Is
She's good.
okay. Okay.
She's good, but there are better alternatives like Kelvin, Dynamo, or Viscous.
Okay. Okay.
Ivy's good because of her ulti, and you can secure earn when you're flying as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge interaction, right? You can just
Yeah.
fly over and just get it super fast. Okay, that's good. How about let's see. I feel like we went into the deep end pretty quickly here to maybe like pull it back a little bit for people that are say trying to get into Deadlock, like people that are maybe they've played Overwatch, maybe they've played Dota, but they haven't played both. They're not really playing at the highest level right now. Is there anything that you could say that you would notice, maybe especially in the beginning when you caught on to the game quickly, but then you're ranking past these people really fast? What do you think was separating you and making those people worse?
Uh, People don't. They're too locked into the mindset of killing the other person in lane, like in League, right? But the real difference in lane is how much money you have from the other person. They
Hmm.
don't focus on CSing as much as they should be. They're not very aware of your like own map presence and where people are, and when to split push and when to go back and when to do objectives. That's important. Map awareness is really important. It's like in any MOBA, it's really important. It decides whether, you're able to get this pick, do this objective, push this wave, do this camp, maybe do like a cool play, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's how I felt too because I'm playing the game a good amount or I've played it a lot and of all the people I'm playing with, because I'm playing with some people who played kind of like a lot of MOBAs, a lot of Valorant, a lot of CS. I feel like the guy that I'm playing with that seems to have the best understanding and is kind of always topping the chart regularly. He's pretty much just spamming the same heroes over and over and over again, and he's just thinking more about the macro stuff, and he's like a nearly top 1000 rated Dota player in North America, so he's just
Yeah,
like keeping his eye so much more on the mini map than everybody else, and it feels like those fundamentals translate incredibly well to this game.
it is. I spend like 70% of my Deadlock games staring at my minimap when I'm
Okay.
walking around. Yeah.
What do you think about that compared to, well, like in Overwatch, how do you felt like the balance was?
In Overwatch, balance wise, it's kind of horrible. It's kind of horrible right now. Like hero balancing wise, yeah, it's been horrible for like a long time.
Okay, okay. Yeah. All right. Well then, so what do you think I guess actually I think people would be curious cuz some people here like dabble in Overwatch too on my channel, I guess. Like, but what do you think right now is it how gone is Overwatch? Like,
It's it's pretty gone. Like
hmm,
on a scale of 1 to 10, like 8 out of 10, maybe
okay.
9 out of 10.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty gone.
So have you noticed that a lot of the people that you competed with in Overwatch contenders are just fully embracing this game?
A lot of people. I actually haven't seen that many Overwatch players. I've seen like some old ones. I've seen some retired ones. The ones currently playing are probably still playing Overwatch because of their contracts and everything.
Okay, that
But
makes
yeah, there are
sense.
people. They are switching over. There are a lot of people switching over from Overwatch, like content creators, into Deadlock, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Or they're like dabbling in it.
Okay, okay. What do you think? So, did you play also DPS when you're playing Overwatch?
Yeah, I was a DPS. I was a tracer player.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. That makes sense for. And you said, wait a second. Could you remind me what heroes you play most often in this?
In Deadlock,
Yeah, yeah.
Wraith, Haze, Infernus, Paradox, and Seven.
Wraith, Haze, Paradox, and Seven.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah, yeah.
Infernus as well.
Okay. Infernus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That makes total sense. Okay. Actually, no, because you have such in-depth knowledge of all the DPS characters, I kind of want to hear how you would differentiate that between them. So between like say Wraith versus Infernus, what are the what are the pros of Wraith over Infernus?
Wraith is super strong early game, mid game. Infernus is he's like it's difficult to say. He's a very good team fighter
Okay, yeah.
because you sustain yourself with your burns and you take the enemy down in a team fight. Early game, Wraith is probably definitely over Infernus.
Mm.
Just Wraith is just so strong. She doesn't scale as well as the other champs though.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Why
because
why
once
is
Infernus gets items, yeah,
why doesn't she scale as well? Like compared to Infernus, so you're saying Infernus scales better?
yeah, for sure. It's
Is
just
that
because of his burns, his
yeah.
burn.
Yeah, his burn which uses some of his things that he gets items for and everything like that. So what about Okay, what about seven? Seven. Okay, seven is just like everybody hates seven in most lobbies, just because it's like I think people are understanding how to play against it, but in the very beginning, it was just like, okay, this character feels so incredibly strong, but from a high level, is there anything about it that doesn't just immediate like first impressions versus like when you've played it as much as you have?
First impressions. I thought I didn't play. A lot of people played Ulti 7. Like the
Yeah,
most liked build for 7 is Ulti, which I think is a really troll build, by the way.
yeah, I
It's
think
useless high MMR because people know how to hide behind walls.
yes,
You know?
exactly. Just got out of line of
Yeah.
sight. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You don't just stand in the open and shoot him. Yeah, 7 was strong for me like when I first started playing, but then I realized he was super like weak, early mid. And the only real time when he's like strong is late. And most games usually end before then, before you can get that money, before you can
Hmm.
get that farm. So most games you just spending in the jungle trying to get to that point where you can be playing other carries that are better early, mid, and late than him.
Oh, okay. So, if there was like a pure carry, if you had one character and you just said, okay, give him max items, who's the strongest? Is there a definite
His
answer? Haze?
his
Okay.
yes, for sure his.
What? Why?
Haze or Infernus. Haze's ulti, you pop it, if you have 4 items, you kill people in like maybe under a second if they don't
Okay.
have metal skin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. But isn't Metal Skin just so? Why
It
are?
is
Isn't it just such a huge counter to her?
it is a really huge counter to her. But if you have like a team behind you
Mm-hmm.
and you're not the only person alive that can do and you're not the only person in your team that can do anything, then they can force metal skins. Or put people in like an uncomfortable situation. But
Okay.
if every single person on the enemy team buys like metal skin and you're like 1v6, then yeah, you're probably losing that game.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
probably
Sure.
losing.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. But you would expect that some of your teammates are going to do something to either bait it out earlier or just help you so that they're
Yeah, have a
doing
good engage,
any
yes.
spirit damage, any better catch, yeah, things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Let's see. What are some other ones that I've okay, so like with some of the support characters, like who else? Okay, so we talked about Kelvin already. Oh yeah, one character that wasn't used in Aurora at all was Bebop. Also, what are your thoughts on Bebop right now?
Bebop. In Aurora, people didn't realize how strong. I don't know. I think they buffed his ultimates
Yeah, he got
after that. Yeah,
yeah. So I
he
mean,
still
yeah,
has ultimate buffs.
I'm thinking about that tournament a lot because I watched it quite closely and I was like trying to just take notes throughout it. But I mean the meta changes so quickly because these patch notes are like pages long of buffs
Yeah,
and nerfs and things like that. But I guess as an overall kit, what does Bebop feel like right now in high level pubs?
he's a he's like he's just a one trick kind of niche character that does one thing. And because in most like tournament settings or high level lobbies, you don't really get caught that much if you're careful. And if you're team fighting, he does this one thing, and then he's just there for like the next 10 seconds until he can do this one thing again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So people like say Mo and Krill probably much more utility in an actual competitive game or what?
Yeah, way more. He's got his disarm. He's got his ulti as well with Phantom Strike. It's a lot of utility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like is what do you do if someone's getting Mo and Krill and they're just getting Phantom Strike? You're just having to play keep away like crazy, or are you buying counter items?
Yeah, rescue beam.
Yeah.
If you know the guy wants to just Phantom Strike your carry, then you play back as a support, and you just rescue beam them out, and it's just a wasted Phantom Strike multi, and maybe they overextend. You can just kill them.
Okay. Okay. Abrams seems to be like actually one of the few characters where it's really good in pubs and it's really good at the high level. Is this just like every single game or what?
Yeah, Abrams is really strong. He has like insane potential early game. Like he can flip the game's head around an early game if he's strong.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really strong early mid, but he kind of falls off late game.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm curious about like more macro stuff like the laning phase and everything. So when Deadlock launches you into the game, I'm not sure. I haven't really kept track of this, but I'm curious if you know. So it's like there's two lanes with two people and there's two lanes with one people. Is there an optimal setup for what's like should it be like 1-2-2-1 or should it be like 2-1-2-1 or does that even matter you think or what?
Right now the agreed upon laning is 1-2-2-1. But I've talked to you about the soaking thing. So
Yeah.
it can become like no, it can become to like 2-1-2-1 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, moving
But
back and forth at least.
Yeah, the agreed upon is right now is 1-2-2-1. Um, Most optimal, you could do 1-1-3-1.
Oh, what?
So you put three people in one lane. So you
Oh.
have one person each lane soaking EXP and like souls and everything, and you have the people with free lane just like push down and then go to their solo
Oh.
lane on the right, and then also help them as well. But
Oh,
nobody's really
okay.
done that. It's kind of niche. It's
When
like a more like a theory thing.
is that like just a strat or what?
It's more like a theory strat. I don't think anybody's really done it,
Uh,
but it's a possibility. There's no like real hard lock-ins for lanes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So would the solo people though be like what characters would those be in the solo lanes versus the ones that are in the two-person lane or the three-person lane?
Solo laners will probably be like strong soaking characters, like characters that can just soak. Like Kelvin, he's like really strong. He can just sit there and soak. Maybe might die in a Talic once, but he'll be fine mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Okay.
to just like to survive long enough for your free lane to push their tower and then like roam around the map
So like
being strong.
Abrams probably just because he's so hard to kill or what?
Abrams, he's easy to poke out if you're versus two
Oh,
and
okay.
you're solo. Yeah, he's
Okay.
easy to dive.
Okay,
This
okay.
this hasn't really been done before, so I don't really know what heroes we would pick.
What do you mean by agreed upon 1-2-2-1?
Agreed upon. It's just like the tournament formats that we played recently. It's
Oh,
just been like
really?
a 1-2-2-1. Yeah,
They force you to do it?
it's
Or
not forced.
oh.
It's just like it's like a gentle. It's just like a suggestion, but we do it. Yeah,
Oh, okay, it's like a gentleman's agreement on like this is how
yeah.
we're gonna
Gentleman's
start the game.
agreement.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious how it's gonna evolve then because there's just I don't know. I mean, do you think there's a so you're coming up you're saying there's like a 1-1-3-1 strategy that you could possibly run. Like do you see is there any value in pushing early to get the immediate guardian down or anything like that, or do you think that it's just like you probably should lane for a while? I'm just trying to like see like what has been come up with in people in theory.
Yeah. The people in free lane will be stronger than everybody else, so they can just go to their solo lane or the people on their right and push their lane, and it just snowballs from there. Like
Mm,
left, and then they go take objectives because they're stronger and everything else.
okay,
Maybe
okay,
that comes a little bit later though. Objectives start at like 10 minutes.
okay, yeah, sure. Okay, what about let's see, what do you think right now for? Well, are you still playing with the same people that you were for the Aurora tournament, or are you guys swapping around teammates?
We sort around one person.
Okay. Okay. What what do you I mean, what is a in like a mid-game situation, I guess. How is like for moving between lanes and lanes, how is like the communication for ganks or like what do you think is important in like a pick-off situation or like determining I guess you're playing the hard carry so maybe you're not thinking about this as much, but like is there anything you're noticing with like the movements around the map that are extra effective or anything? I don't know how much you want to reveal like strategy, I guess, but yeah.
You normally look at the map. If they're pushed in and you have a character like Paradox or Abrams, which have CC abilities, and I'm on like Haze with also CC ability, then I will go gank if they're low HP. If
Mm.
they're like, I don't know, 2k souls ahead and way stronger than both of us, then I won't go. But if they're
Oh.
like even and the guys, and my solo lane is like half or full HP and they can contribute as well, then I will go gank.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, okay, so I'm still curious about like other characters that I'm seeing like more or less and everything like that. And I kind of want to just get your feeling on them overall. Okay, we talked about Kelvin a good amount. What about Viscous?
Viscous is a really strong character. He's like S tier as well. Definitely
Mm.
S tier.
So when you're, I guess, is there any like weaknesses you think of Viscous right now?
Weaknesses? No, not really. He
Mm-hmm.
might. Yeah, he's just a really strong character. Not the strongest, but he's really strong. Like
Yeah,
Kelvin and Dynamo are only above him because their ultis are just like crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those, okay. I never even you guys didn't even get to play. No one got to play Dynamo in the Aurora tournament
Yes.
because everybody just banned it every single time. Would you mind explaining like why this hero needed to just be taken out of every single game?
If you're behind, it's a one button. It's like you are risking this Dynamo pressing one button and just winning the whole team fight and flipping the game. If you're ahead, it's just so easy to snowball with Dynamo ulti. It's
Okay.
just like a one button, one click. Maybe you get three people win. It's just a coin flip, and you don't really want to be coin flipping every single team fight, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Does Dynamo have much utility outside of the ultimate, which is obviously so impactful? If people don't know, I'm sure I'm sure people watching this can just look things up, but Dynamo's ult is just like Enigma's black hole. It's like what's it, Zarya's graviton, or is it what is it?
Yeah,
It's
his
also a
grab,
black hole.
a grab. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what about the utility outside of that ultimate? Is that why it's just a coin flip?
His TP is also very good. His
Yeah.
TP like places people in like an intangible state for like 2 seconds, so you can dodge a Lash ulti, dodge Infernus ulti. But yeah, dodge. I mean, you can't really dodge another Dynamo. It can only be one Dynamo. You can dodge a lot of stuff with his TP. He's also got a very good slam, and his healing's alright. His DPS is not bad too.
Yeah, his ultimate, or his teleport is the same as what's the item that puts you into that? Is it ethereal state?
Ethereal shift. Yeah,
Ethereal
ethereal
shift. Ethereal
shift.
shift. Yeah, yeah, right, right. Yeah, so you basically have a 3,000 soul item that's just from the get go available. Yeah, it's pretty. Okay, actually, now that I even brought up that, are there any items right now that you think are probably like underutilized or underrated?
Uh, Colossus, but it got buffed for some weird reason this patch. It's a really strong item. Toxic bullets as well. People should start buying toxic bullets
Which
because it does
bullets?
toxic bullets. It's
Oh,
the one that
toxic.
does. Yeah,
Oh,
it does. It's
oh,
the one that does percent HP and reduces healing against
oh.
like really strong. Because a lot of people play like tanky, strong early characters like Abrams or Shiv. If you
Mm-hmm.
buy toxic bullets versus those characters, you're gunning them basically. It really hurts when you're on Abrams or Shiv.
Oh, okay, okay, that's good. Those are good counter. Those are counters to people that you see like in every game. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. What do you think about the Ricochet versus Tesla bullets debate?
On who?
I mean, like, okay, so you play. We could go through. Let's do. Well, you play. Who do you play the most? Like, let's just do Infernus for example. What do you think? Is it
Infernus, Tesla bullets or Ricochet? Ricochet for sure. You never go Tesla bullets on Infernus.
okay? Okay. How about on someone like Wraith?
On Wraith, I do go Tesla bullets. The only reason I go Tesla bullets on Wraith is because you shoot so fast and you have
Yep.
such a big mag. So
Okay.
you're proccing Tesla bullets like a lot. And it's
Right.
really good for farming as well.
Okay, so based off of it's like the fire rate, the magazine size, Tesla bullets can be good just because it's like you're gonna get so many shots out that you're just gonna proc a lot. So the
Yeah.
ricochets, it's still good, but it would be like it's kind of like why save that long for the extra 3,000 when you can just get something that's kind of similar already.
Uh, yeah, kind of. But Ricochet's really. I don't buy Ricochet on Wraith. Wraith is more like a tanky carry for me. On Haze, though, I rush. I never buy Tesla bullets and I rush Ricochet. It's actually
Hmm.
really weird. On 7, a lot of people buy Tesla bullets. But he doesn't shoot fast.
Yeah,
So it doesn't really work at all.
isn't that just redundant? Also, like, isn't
It
that
is because it's Freezer Tesla, yeah.
yeah? It's kind of his stim does that already. Do people do that just because of the spirit damage? They think
I
they're
think
just gonna amp that.
people I think
I
people just see a lightning character
yeah,
with a
okay.
lightning ability and they're like, maybe Tesla also fits into this. But then it just doesn't. It's pretty useless, yeah.
That was like, yeah, that stuff's happened in MOBAs before where people are like, oh, it's Zeus, you should just buy Mjolnir if people play Dota. But like, it's just like, that doesn't even make sense at all. He doesn't attack fast enough to proc it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, okay, that's dumb. Uh, okay, what about, do you play Pocket ever?
I play a little bit of Pocket, yeah.
Okay, what do you think? Is there even a reason to get either of these on him?
No, no, you'll never get
Yeah.
Tesla bullets on that character. You go like burst,
Okay.
basically, and
Okay.
utility, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think one other character that I just see in like so many high level games, it just also just one of the most annoying, even after the nerfs, is still Shiv. What
Yes.
what's your read? What's your read on Shiv? Like it he kind of does so much, but like just can be beefy too.
Yeah, exactly. He's a mobile. He's got his dash, but he's just so strong. With his defer damage, he's got an execute. He's got
Yeah.
like an insane dash. He's got his rage mechanic. He's got his knives. People are starting to build knife Spirit Shiv with like
Okay.
bleed ticking is really strong. Like
Hmm.
ticking Shiv with decay and bleed. He's just a
Okay.
really strong. His gun is really good as well. He's just really strong overall. But
Yeah.
he's like well rounded, like really well.
Yeah, his kit just seems like I mean, probably not the first player or first character you want to do to learn the game, but once you understand when all of his abilities are valuable, it just can be in the middle of a fight, can defer all that damage. You basically it's like you have it feels like you have like 30% more health than you actually do because of that or even more. And then you're the execute also is just so infuriating too, because you're like, oh, okay, I'm still good, I'm running away, and then he just suddenly just jumps you and you're just gone.
Yeah,
The daggers are just like also just tilting to just keep getting hit by them. It's like now it's refreshed again and everything.
yeah, exactly.
So many things that he can do well. Okay, what about more like lower, I guess lower tier ones? Great Talon, for example, wasn't used very much in the Aurora tournament. Do you think? What do you think this? I don't know about the recent patch, but like, what do you think about Great Talon's kit?
His kit, the best part about it is the L. Everything else is like kind of mediocre.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think Great
He's
Talon's
just
pretty weak.
he's strong early, but after that, he's not even strong early. It's just his L is like really good, but it's so
Yeah.
easy to dodge or know when it's coming because it's it's screeching, it's making like noises. And after that, like after like 15, 20k, he's just like kind of useless after that, and you just like snowball. He's also super squishy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Great Talon's kit in a lot of ways doesn't make a lot of sense. Just like I personally like I just never understood why you would want a split shot horizontally when you fly into the air because you're creating new
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like why are you changing your y-axis to give you a spread shot on an x-axis? Because then you just hit one thing, and unless they're moving left and right beneath you, it doesn't really make sense. The trap is also just kind of weaker than a lot of them. Like seven, you get close to them, and you sure there's a delay on your stun, but you do stun them every time unless and then with Gray Talon, you have to throw it. It has to arm itself, and they can also just walk away from like they just see that and they just walk away from it. So I've always been kind of like, I just don't think this kit is synergistic, and I don't think the kit it makes sense like in a lore sense, but it doesn't make sense in like an actual gameplay sense to me.
Yeah. There are some characters that are going to be reworked.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, yeah, I think the characters are like Yamato's getting a remodel. I think
Right.
a lot of people know that. Bebop is probably going to get a rework. Great Talon is looking like he's on the chopping block as well, and Seven might see some changes too.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah,
What's going on with Seven?
Seven. He's just like in high and more, he's just useless. Like early, mid, late, he's just like not very strong at all. So they're
Okay.
seeing if they can take some changes to his ulti. I think his ulti is the worst part of his kit. It's only good for farming for me.
He's just yeah, the seven kit is just at the high level because people can just step around a corner. It's just or just get out of line of sight. It's just almost too easy to avoid that.
Yeah,
A lot of disables also that can just kind of pull him out of it or move him in, or something. So, um, okay, one character that I think might be lightly misunderstood that I'm also interested in is that you guys ran Vindicta a good amount, but Vindicta doesn't really see good win rates at all level. I think Vindicta has the flat out lowest win rate as of
really.
the last track lock. So track lock hasn't been able to update for a couple weeks because the API has been inaccessible. But I feel like at high elo, Vindicta is actually quite good. I think it's just a lot of noobs. The reason I think the win rate's low is that it's a pretty high skill hero or needs some setup. But what's your guys take in your team with Vindicta?
Vindictus is very strong. Her stake, it's just if you max it, it's like a level 3 disarm for 3.5 seconds. It also CCs them. Her
Hmm.
fly is really good. Her crow is insane. It does a percent HP for like 15% or like 15 seconds. So it's crazy if you like land a crow in a fight. It also like spreads as well. It hits multiple people. Her snipe is really good. It's been nerfed this patch because you share your snipe gold. So yeah, you get like bonus gold when you hit somebody with your when you kill somebody with your ulti.
Yeah.
That's kind of been enough now because you share the gold with your teammates. Before it all went to you, so you're like kind of funneling every kill into yourself, plus like an extra 800 gold. So
Okay.
yeah, she's just a really solid, really good character.
Yeah, you would get souls too super quickly. I also noticed that if you guys ever slowed somebody down or disabled them or stunned them or whatever, then Vindicta just it's a free assassinate or free ultimate.
Yeah, free. Yeah, it's just free.
Yeah, so that was always super strong. Let me see who else. Who else would I want to know about? You said Lady Geist was bad. Oh, okay. What about Warden right now? What kind of yeah? I see him a good amount.
Warden. I talked to my teammates. Some people on my team play Warden. I don't think he's good, but he's pretty good in ladder right now. He's
Okay.
there's an item called inhibitor that got fixed. Before it was like bugged, bullets didn't proc the effect, but it makes people go slower and deal less damage. It's a really good item on Warden. because
Oh, okay.
people build Warden like a, it's like a speed demon that just runs around everywhere and shoots people with like a lot of damage. It's a
Yeah.
really good item. But Warden competitive play, we did see some Warden and Aurora. I'm pretty sure we played in the grand finals or something. I remember playing Warden and Haze in
Yeah.
lane,
Yeah.
and I would sleep somebody and he would cage them. It was
Uh,
free.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. I feel like he's used, but it's not as it's kind of weird with Warden. I feel like he's sort of between support, and he's not as hard of a support as like a Kelvin or a Viscous or a Dynamo or something like that. But he has a decent amount of like his utilities kind of run around, be beefy. But I think most of the time you'd rather probably have like an Abrams, where if he's gonna be close, he's gonna do things that are really fuck people
Really
up.
impactful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like it's like, yeah, you can get him to be in the middle of fights and be strong, but if you're not stunning people while you're doing that, it's kind of like, why? I guess you're soaking damage, but people can also kind of just avoid you a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. He's in a weird spot right now. I don't know what to think about him because I don't play him. I
Mm-hmm.
don't play him at all. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't really know what to think about him.
Okay. Okay. What about, I guess another good disabler that people choose a lot is Lash. So what do you think about him?
Lash, he's a solid character in solo play, in competitive play, in tourney play. He's a solid character. He's got a good gun, good kit. His ulti's really good. He's got a good getaway as well. If you like run away pretty easily,
Mm-hmm.
he's a solid character.
When you say good gun versus bad gun, I feel like I feel like I know exactly what you mean immediately, but I feel like it's worth explaining to viewers or people that are, getting started in Deadlock. What do you think? What do you think is what's an example of like a bad gun?
A bad gun. Haze's gun has like a really sharp fall off, and there's like some spread. There's quite a lot of spread. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Yeah,
I-
some characters just have better guns. It's not like really any like really bad guns,
Okay, okay,
but some characters just have way better guns than everybody else. Like
okay.
Mo and Krill.
Mo
Mo
and
and
Krill.
Krill's gun is insane.
Okay, what do you think of Yamato's gun?
Yamato's left click and right click.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's good. Most people just use right click in lane. Not many people use left click because you can
Mm.
slide right click and you have like basically infinite ammo.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. What do you think of the whole? Okay, what do you think of the slide mechanic to get infinite ammo?
It's good. It requires skill. Anything that requires skill and like knowledge to do is fine, unless it's like insanely broken. But slide ammo thing's not crazy.
Okay, it's not busted. It's good for taking down the first tower though, with the like go
Yeah.
up the stairs, slide down it, go up, slide down.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. Okay, who else? Okay, well, okay. What about? Well, you kind of touched on Mo and Krill. Has a good gun, has some decent disable. Do you feel like, okay? How about this? In an actual comp that you guys would run, would you ever? Do you think you would run a Mo and Krill and an Abrams?
Yeah, I wouldn't see. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Okay. Are there already comps then that you think, okay, so like if you had an insane comp that you could just build it right now, that's gonna like carry, have good disable, just be really well balanced in general. If you were like, is your first pick just Dynamo every time, or where would you go with it?
The thing is, like, if I just had to pick, if I had to pick like all six heroes at once,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, because in drafting we have to like ban and then
yeah, it
pick
goes
back, yeah,
back and
like pick
forth.
pick pick, yeah, exactly. If I had made like an ideal comp, it would probably be like Dynamo, Kelvin Abrams, Haze, Paradox, and last character is a little bit iffy. I don't know what last character would be.
It could be something
Shiv,
to
probably
count.
Shiv.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
Shiv
Shiv.
seems really good. Yeah, that's just, you're just gonna be in everything and be hella annoying and just execute people too. So yeah, okay. No, that sounds super strong with today's meta and what people are going with. Let's see. Okay, so do you guys? I'm curious. Do you guys have like set plays, like you kind of know like an ability ordering when you guys are actually carrying out a team fight? How does it work?
No, the game's very fluid right now because it's really early. There's no real like set plays, set comps, or anything. There are like objectives that we do play around. That's like the real only set thing, like buffs and urns.
Okay.
We do play around those things, but there's nothing really set in stone in like team fights.
Okay, so what do you? Okay, actually, yeah, I'm kind of curious how you guys communicate throughout like a match start to finish. You go through laning. You're having some people soak between different lanes, and then what would be like the first objective, and how would that be carried out with a team?
The buffs and urn spawn at 10 minutes. There's also guardians as well and walkers. Like flex slots right now, you need 4 guardians for 1 flex slot. So
Mhm.
people might play around to kill guardians to unlock that flex slot. But when buffs are about to spawn, people stand on the bridge and wait for it, and they fight for the buffs because the buffs they do matter.
Yeah.
They do matter. And the urn as well. People will fight for the urn, but I think it's more of like the urn is more of a thing that you do if you're at an advantage, I think.
Right, right. Because if the lanes are a little bit pushed, it's really easy to just cross it the whole map and just
Yeah,
capture it. Yeah,
exactly. You have to
gotcha.
have lanes pushed and be able to fight. Be
Okay,
strong enough to fight.
okay. So in this game, I guess what are you reading right now in terms of like the split push versus like Deathball versus is there anything that seems more prevalent than the other, or yeah?
Deathballing is a lot prevalent right now. Deathballing is very prevalent right now. People just group as 5 people.
Okay,
There's
5 people.
normally the last tournament people I was the carry player, so I was just farming. There was also another carry player, so he was just farming, so it was just 5v5 for the
Hmm.
rest of my team. That was it. I was just like stuck farming, just watching them fight.
So when the 5 man are deathballing, I guess you're not involved in it, so you're probably just kind of focusing purely on just like farming as fast as humanly possible. But is there anything where they're like moving from guardian to like, are they trying to get, yeah,
Yeah.
what are their objectives in their 5 man?
Macro, you gotta see where the enemy is and see where you can outposition them. Because if you can outposition them, you might have to take a walker and a guardian as well. So you
Mm,
like be looking at the map and seeing where they are and what they're doing too. Because they might be like, I don't know, on the opposite of the map, opposite side of the map, or splitting and doing jungle. You could just go like left or right and take the guardian and the walker as well. That's 5 people.
okay, okay. Are you guys then making priorities to get like it's like the walker into the, actually I can't forget, actually now I forget which one's which. Is the first one the
The
walker
first one's the guardian, the second
guardian,
one's the walker.
and then it's
Yeah.
two guardians.
Then there's 2 guardians and a
Yeah.
shrine and then the patron.
Yes. Okay. So then when you guys are trying to get the next two guardians, is that like a priority for you guys? So you guys have faster travel in
Uh
that lane.
Base Guardians, walkers are more of a priority because you need to
Okay.
kill 2 walkers to get flex slot. Flex slots are really important in this game. You
Okay.
want to have as many item slots as you can because it fills up really quickly.
Yeah, that does feel like it does. Right. Okay. Okay. Actually, okay. Wait. We didn't really talk about Yamato other than just briefly talking about using the right click a lot in laning phase. What is Yamato's role, or how does Yamato play out in high level games?
She's difficult to say. She's really easy to shut down because there's an
Okay.
item called Silence Glyph. You just throw a Silence Glyph on her, she can't press her ulti anymore because
Oh,
it ca-
yeah.
because it, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it silences your abilities.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's hard to say, but Yamato can be strong. She dominates lane. I'm pretty sure she does dominate lane. A good Yamato will dominate lane.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. That's good to know. Yeah. I felt like, I mean, I've only played Yamato once ever, and I wasn't spamming right click nearly as much as I apparently am supposed to. So that makes total sense. Okay. Let's see. Is there any other? I feel like we covered a lot of stuff already in this in terms of just like just meta stuff and everything. I guess is there anything that when you're playing against some of the best teams out there, what are you guys screaming already?
No, no scrims, but
Oh, okay.
we're looking right now.
Oh, okay. So are you
Yeah,
guys? Well, what has there even been a team that's given you trouble?
not really. No, maybe if you consider the last tournaments, but that's
Okay.
because we were on NA on ping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's
and
totally
we were
different.
playing like really late as well. But
What
apart from that, no, not really.
what does high ping feel like in this game? I haven't ever had it.
I think Deadlock might be the worst game to play ping on because like the soul denying is really hard to do,
Oh,
and
dude,
that's really important.
it's so instantaneous. If you're not already shooting at the frame that it comes out, you're behind on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's
Okay.
just like rare disadvantage always.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to. I mean, you probably would just have to melee more in lane, which means you're gonna take more damage.
Yeah, exactly. You do want a melee, but it's risky doing that.
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay. Um, I think we talked about nearly every single hero in the game. Is there any we even missed? I feel like we went through practically all of them. Seven, Warden, Haze, McGinnis briefly, Kelvin, Lady Geist, Moan Krill, Abrams, Lash, Pocket, Wraith, Bebop, Ivy, Yeah,
Uh,
I think we actually covered all of them, which is kind of crazy. Okay, actually, well, we barely mentioned Ivy. Okay, what do you think of Ivy in comps right now? I mean, you said that there's a lot of utility with like flying up and everything like that, but like, how about in a team fight setting? Can Ivy like if you had an Ivy on your team, would you be looking then that you could maybe not have an Abrams? You're still probably gonna try to get that or Mo and Krill, right?
yeah, yeah. Essentially, I'd be strong in team fights. She needs to her level 3 ulti it adds a 3 second silence to
Oh,
her bomb.
okay, that's
Yeah,
pretty big. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So it's just like an AOE bomb 3 second silence
That's
for
true.
everybody.
That could be that could be devastating. That just you're just so far ahead in a fight if you get that off immediately. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. How about this? What about like end late game stuff? We talked about a lot about like laning, moving around, and everything like that. In late game situations, is there anything that's like a general strategy for it? I feel like the thing that I noticed when I was watching you guys play was that I guess you use the high ground as much as humanly possible if you can, but like sometimes it's risky, so you're assessing whether you want to be there versus just like you don't want to really be in the pit on a defense as much as sometimes people end up into the pit, I would say.
Oh, you're talking about the patron pit. Yeah.
Yeah, page, yeah.
It's difficult to say because it really revolves around the situation that
Mhm.
you're in. But if all 6 people are up, then yeah, you generally don't want to fight into the pits. You could like force it and force them to come into the pits if you can kill patron.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's really iffy to say.
Okay, okay. Let me just before we cap this off, what do you think about like for the future of this game? Like, I mean, you've already been playing it a lot. I think that there's a lot of positivity around this game right now. But if there was something that you were like, you need this feature to come out next, what do you think Deadlock needs ASAP?
I don't know actually. More heroes, I guess.
More heroes,
More
yeah.
chance. Yeah, more heroes. Probably remove the soaking thing. The soaking strat is pretty stupid. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it belongs in the game at all.
Okay, okay. It's just
Yeah,
too good right
more
now.
heroes and soaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that this game needs any kind of like ladder or any kind of
Oh, ranked system.
yeah,
Right
rank
now,
system?
the current rank system is the current like MMR system is kind of messed up. They haven't figured it out yet. So I think it'll be a while before ranked unlocks. But I think the current ladder it's fine. It's yeah,
Can you even
it's
see where do you
possible.
see it? Do you
When you
even
see your high MMR,
yeah.
uh, I don't really use Tracklock or any of the tracking websites. You use there's a watch page
Oh,
on
right.
the main menu. If you're on the front page, then you're high MMR basically.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's kind of how you know. You just are you on the front
Yeah.
page or not? Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. If you
That's
have like
fine.
a lot of people spectating, then odds are you're on the front page. So odds are you're higher than that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I felt like this was a super thorough discussion of pretty like niche stuff already. I feel like I feel like this game is going to attract a lot of people very quickly that are just they want to get very serious and for lack of a better word, just kind of get really super nerdy about it really fast. I feel
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it does seem like that's probably the only drawback I see is that I don't know how the new player experience is going to be. Do you think that
It's
do you,
accessible.
yeah, do you, how yeah, for accessibility, what do you think?
I think it's pretty accessible. It's like a third person shooter MOBA.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mechanics, but I think after you play for like 50, 100 hours, you're fine basically. I mean, that's a lot of time, but well, after
Mhm.
you play for like your first 50 hours, then you will understand. You will understand what to do.
Okay. Okay. So, for more stuff about yourself really quickly, I've got your Twitter. I'm going to link that in the description below. You also stream, so I'll link that below as well. Is there anything for like your team or org or anything like that that I could also post?
Nah, there's nothing really.
Okay,
There's
that's
no
fine.
like real setup for that. Yeah.
Okay, no worries then. No worries. Well, is there anything you would want to say for people out there?
For people out there,
Like a shout
play
out.
Deadlock, man. It's a good game. Get off of Overwatch and start playing Deadlock. That's my tip. That's my general advice.
Okay, you think this game has a better future than Overwatch for sure.
Yeah, 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 for sure, definitely.
Okay,
Overwatch
okay.
has had its time in the sun.
All right, that's damn. I think some people are going to be pretty sad about that, but I think it's
Yeah,
it's
I mean
time.
they'll agree. Yeah,
Yeah, it's time. It's time. Yeah, and I think Valve
definitely
is.
time.
I mean, I feel like the Discord communication between the community and like that Yoshi guy and like
Yeah, the devs are really open about
I,
everything.
I can't believe, dude. I mean, dude, I've been doing stuff with Counter Strike for the last 10 years, or almost, and there's no the only communication I ever get is if they're at a major, and then I'm with them at the major, and I talk to them in person.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so they've been super silent on most fronts, and yet when I'm now getting involved in this one, I'm seeing just open communication, them having back and forths with people, and I'm just like, were these people at Valve the whole time? Like, where were they with Counter Strike? It's almost like they didn't even care. But that's how we are. That's how Counter Strike fans are. We're like whatever. We know our game is good, and you don't need to do too much. We want the bare minimum. But they're going above and beyond already. So I'm super happy, and I'm honestly really excited about the future of Deadlock.
Yeah, the communication and everything is great. It's really good. I don't think I've really had that much dev interaction in any game before.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
Mm-hmm.
nice. And the meta is like constantly shifting around other players' opinions and what the devs think as well. So it also adds like a lot of flavor to the game as well. It's not stale at all.
One last question: should anybody try out a trackball if they're already used to a
Nah,
mouse?
nah, no. I've only played on the trackball. I've never used the mouse to game. A lot of
Ever?
people ask me that. No, never. I've only used like mouses in like the school lab or something. I know how to
Wow.
use a mouse. I've never used a mouse to play a
Oh my
game.
god, that is crazy. That's like the craziest thing that you said on this whole podcast, this whole interview. Yeah. Okay.
A lot, a lot of people ask me that question. Whether it's like whether I should swap or not after seeing this. It's like no, definitely not. Don't try it.
Okay. All right. I think that's gonna be it though. But yeah, I'll link everything that you've got below, and I really appreciate you taking the time, really shining some light on what the meta's developing to be, and a lot of. I mean, you had a lot of great insight about the game in general. So I'll be curious about you and your team's journey, and I'll be sure to tune in from time to time. Thanks for taking the time, Zergy.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me for the interview as well. I really enjoyed this. Thanks, man. This was
Cool.
a great experience.
Great. Great. Glad you enjoyed.
All right.
All
Yeah.
right. Peace out. And for everybody watching, as always, being toxic is a choice.
Okay.